What is going on with those Epstein files? What's up, y'all? Welcome to Spirit School. I am recording this at the what you would call the witch hour or Spirit's hour, which is 3 in the morning. So we don't know what's going to come out of this episode. But whatever I feel called to say or what I'm picking up, I'm going to share with you guys. So everyone's talking about these files, right? And, you know, if you listen to my earlier episodes, I talked about certain celebrities that were in the news for scandals and how a lot of them don't operate in the light. You can go to my previous episodes about that. So what I was alluding to in those episodes is exactly what you're reading right now in the Epstein files. Now that it's out in the open and everyone's talking about it openly, I guess it's kind of like no holds barred now. You pretty much can share the truth because, let me tell y'all something, it's over for them. It is over for the powers that were, is what I like to call them. The powers that were, who were having control and creating a world where everyone was working hard, laboring for the people that are in these high positions of power. And what they're doing at the expense of that as well. What they're doing to these children. You know, it's scenarios you wouldn't dream of. Like if I were to talk about it last year, everything that's everyone's reading now in these files, y'all would have thought I was crazy. I know a lot of conspiracy theorists and other people have been talking about it, but I'm just saying for me. For my personal opinion, when I was sharing information on my podcast during last year, I wanted to make sure I was doing it in a way where it wasn't too much at once. Because I knew everything was going to be unveiled one way or another. Especially because we are in the age of Aquarius and what was coming from that. The truth, nothing is more powerful than the light. Nothing. This is why those demonic fuckers put a clause in these contracts with people to not say Yeshua's name. Yeshua. I'm smiling because he's with me. Yeshua is one of my guides. You know, he's very charismatic. Y'all be surprised. And funny he is. He has quite a sense of humor. Very fun, loving personality. I'm sorry, Yeshua. So they don't want to say Yeshua's name because they know Yeshua is of the highest frequency of pure light of God's source. That is the energy he has. This is why they don't want it to be said, and also around people, and you've probably seen videos, if not you can look it up, people who practice these rituals, right, demonic rituals and what have you, to invoke negative dark energies. The moment Yeshua's name is called and said, they fucking run for the hills. Or they disintegrate right there in the spot. And it's not only Yeshua, thank you. Angels, archangels. Calling Archangel Michael, forget about it. It's because the light is the epitome frequency. Everything was created. Everything. If you want to call it negative, bad, I say contrast was created from source. Source is the originator. So these people that were fed a pipe dream, okay, that they had to denounce God, they denounced, Yeshua and everything, that they're the supreme power. They got bamboozled because it ain't true. And so I'm, it goes really deep, y'all. I said this on my spirit school on TikTok, but people were alluding to that these powers that were are working for reptilians, what you know as lizard beings. This is true. That might be so far-fetched out there for a lot of people to even fathom or rationalize, but it's not, y'all. People already thought when these conspiracy theories came out about the elite eating and drinking the blood of children and torturing them and raping them and all these other things, right? Keeping them trapped in tunnels and cages and forcing them to do and all of the things that are so disgusting and horrific and grotesque. No one would have believed it. And now you're seeing that it's true. Because it is. It's not that far behind. Actually, it's not far behind at all. It's right next to it that we are not the only beings in this universe, y'all. To think that is very, very, very arrogant and fucking impossible. I mean, we've only explored 10% of the ocean floor. Not even the ocean floor. 10% of the ocean, excuse me. You could only, and look what we found, right? Now, imagine how much we've explored of space and how much we haven't. What do you think is out there? We're not the only ones. That is to say about these reptilians. I mean, if you follow spirit school, we're already beyond this, but just if you're coming across this video, these reptilian beings, they can't stand humans. They feel like this is their planet because they came here first. Which is true. However, humans are said to be the civilization beings in this universe that's going to bring harmony to the universe because we are comprised of different beings in one in our DNA. So what does that have to do with the Epstein files? Because now we're gonna go back a little bit, y'all. Now And I know this is what I'm about to say because I've had incarnations battling these motherfuckers. That's why I'm like, let's fucking go. This is why I incarnated here. Been here before. They've been defeated before. So their ancestors, so to speak, the reptilians' ancestors, or homeland, or what have you, where they originated from. Their ancestors are the Dracos. You might have heard that before, Dracos. Now these Dracos popped in to our universe through a portal, looking for resources. You can, I'm sorry, it's dust flying around. You can go and Google or YouTube the origins of the story, but I'll try to paraphrase it so it's not too long. Basically, they were looking for resources. They didn't have any on their planet, and so they went around to different star systems looking to dominate, take over, control different planets, systems, so they can acquire these resources. Sorry, y'all. It's just coming in. And so what happened is they popped into the Vega Lyra star system, which I have. That's my star origins. And not necessarily there, but the Leo constellation. And they came in and destroyed the star system, planets around it. And because the Lyrans were very high dimensional beings. They operated off of love, wisdom, metaphysics, energy. Highly evolved ascended beings. They're also the first species to seed life in the universe, in multiple universes. They're the oldest. They're the oldest beings. They are literally a branch off of God's source frequency. Just like how angels and archangels are. They are a branch of that frequency. And so they come with a lot of wisdom and connection in that way to the highest source. And so they operated out of love and compassion, understanding all the frequencies of what God love is. So with these Dracos, they pretty much played them. They wanted to broker a deal where they would provide some of their technology because these Dracos are highly advanced. But here's the thing too, they're also highly intelligent. They're fully logic-based, analytical. They're low-dimensional beings. They don't have the capability to ascend in frequency. There are beings in the universe who, in this particular universe, who are purely made of low vibration. Like there's no ascending with them. That's just who they are. This is what these beings are. And so what they operate out of is very methodical, analytical. It's almost like a cold energy. I guess reptilian, cold-blooded makes sense. This is why they say here, only moving in logic is moving in that frequency. That's not to say to not utilize it, because we have that DNA in our system. But to only purely operate in that vibration of logic and makes you disconnected from source and the divine, which is the true connection of the universe, because all has been created from God's source. And so they going back to the advanced technology. So these Dracos were highly advanced in technologies versus the Lyrans, who weren't as highly advanced with that, because they operated out of, again, essentially frequency and energy. They can manifest on sight, but when it comes to actual tech, they weren't as advanced. And so they made a deal. Okay, you want some of our resources? All right. They met with the council. They said, okay, so you trade us with your weapon, with your artillery, your advanced technology, show us how to use it, and then, we'll give you our resources. Draco said, okay. But remember, they operate in low vibration, just like the dark negative energies, evil, as you would say. And I say this a lot on Spirit School TikTok, even on this podcast. Manipulation, trickery, deception. These are all characteristics of these low vibrational beings and dark low frequencies. This is what they did, because they don't know how to be fair, because they don't know how to be just. They're only about themselves, selfishness, which is also low vibrational energy. Everything that is think of anything that is in this category that I'm describing right now, that's their frequency, these Dracos. So then they played the Lyrans. And then they started attacking the planet, destroyed the entire planet star systems. A lot of Lyrans perished in this war. Their planet was completely demolished. So the ones that were left over from the High Council was like, we have to save our species. We have to go. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking and picking up on just remembrance of it. It's getting me emotional. Whew. And then they all separated. The most elite of the Lyran Council, they all separated from each other, went to different star systems. They went to Sirius, they went to Pleiades, they went to Andromeda, and then they lived there and incarnated there in future incarnations. So I bring that back to the Dracos, and this is where the Orion Wars came to be. It is a war that lasted for a very long time along the Orion belt, fighting these Dracos. I know, because like I said, I've had incarnations. I've fought these motherfuckers before. And so, in my incarnations, I've had, that's another story, another day. I don't want to get into that right now.
Because if I start sharing certain things, it's just people, it's just not ready to be heard. At least I feel for me, because there's still planet still operates in ego, at least for now, and people might take it a certain way. So I'm not ready to do that yet, but one day I'll share it. In any event, so what's happening is these so oh, excuse me. These reptilians are offsprings from these Dracos. They came to this planet, inhabited this planet, these reptilians. Yes, the dinosaurs are their ancestors as well. And then humanity popped up. Let me tell y'all something. This is what I'm bringing this all together because I guess this is turning to an alien ET episode. I was talking about Epstein files, but it's all related. I'm gonna tie it with a bow at the end of this. So, without assistance from the good cosmic brothers and sisters who are part of the GFL, which is a council of sorts of the stars that oversees this universe to make sure everything is in order and universal law isn't broken. It's comprised of beings, ambassadors, representatives of all different types of species out there in the galaxy, in the universe. And so I lost my train of thought for a second. Sorry, y'all. With these reptilians here, okay? They thought that humans were just going to remain dumb, stupid, and slow evolving, like cavemen. But because our species became experiments and our DNAs were spliced and diced by other beings out there, this is how we evolved to who we are now. And they say, it's not even said, it's scientific, that we only know about 7 to 10% of our DNA. And the rest is what science calls junk DNA. They can't figure out where it comes from. I mean, don't you think we want to know what the rest of the 90% of our DNA is comprised of? Yeah, y'all. So I want y'all, as you're listening, to, because we've been programmed, and this was done on purpose, to believe that this type of information that I'm sharing with you is nonsense, absurd, something made for movies, impossible. This is how dumbed down they made us, y'all. We are powerful beings. And I'm tying this up with the reptilians and Epstein files for a reason, okay? So, because of the help from our cosmic brothers and sisters with our DNA, we were able to evolve. We are prophesized to be the species, like I said, that's bringing harmony to the universe, because we are made of all these different ET DNA into one. We also have the reptilian DNA in us. They were experimenting on us too. This is where that fight or flight mode energy comes from within us. The fear, the anxiety, depression, the anger, the jealousy, the envy, the spitefulness. That's from them. Now, and what's happening is these reptilians, right? They're like, all right, so here are these experimental beings, right, on our planet, and now we have to get off this planet that we inhabited. So then the GFL was like, you gotta go, or you gotta go underground. They gave them an option. Some of them left. A lot of them went underground. That's another conversation for another day. What's going on inside Earth, Gaia? Yeah. So anyway, fast forward to now. Because of this awakening, because so many people are elevated in consciousness, because we are in this 5D, this is the term 5D is New Earth frequency. We are in it now. They have lost. The light has won. And we hear the light that's talking about God source frequency energy, higher consciousness, the divine. These star seeds, light workers that incarnated here. A call was put out for help for Gaia. So everyone that incarnated here, I'm not saying everyone is a light worker or starseed, because that is a specific divine mission. However, everyone has this common denominator. We all are incarnated here to assist the ascension of Gaia. You don't have to do it. I've said this before in the podcast. It doesn't have to be at an extreme level or massive global level. By you just simply standing in your truth, making sound decisions that are true to your heart and with integrity, out of love and compassion, and having that same energy towards empathy towards other people. By you standing in that frequency, this is how powerful human beings are. You standing in that energy is enough to affect Gaia's energetic grid. And it has. In between the light workers, the star seeds transmuting energy, right? All of that, right? Everyone doing the damn thing. Plus the amount of people that has awakened, consciously awakened, right? They took off those rose-colored glasses, now sees the truth in things. Plus let's also not forget timing, divine timing, because that's real. It is this exact moment in time. The universe is made of numbers, vibrations, frequencies. This is how the universe is analyzed. Geometric patterns. It's binary codes, numerics. The universe functions mathematically with precision. And I'll share that on another episode, but I'm saying this because this was the precise moment in time that everything is aligned energetically, planetarily. This was I'm seeing just like a target in my mind's eye, a target, like, oh God, what do you call those? Like darts? Like bullseye? exact, precise degrees, coordinates, energy for this to happen. This awakening, the Great Awakening, is what it's referred to. In this age of Aquarius now, we have entered the age of Aquarius a few months ago. Age of Aquarius is all about innovation, technology, unity consciousness, spirituality, and what's happening now, truth and justice. We're right on time, y'all. So all that is to say, us as human beings are prophesized to bring this energy into the future of this planet because Gaia has been operating, functioning in a very low frequency for so damn long. Something I've mentioned on this podcast before. I'm just repeating myself because it's been so long since I've done like detailed episodes. So I want to make sure that y'all remember this. Or if you're new, you can go back to previous episodes where I constantly talk about this. That she has been suffering. She has a soul and consciousness too. There's a reason we call her Mother Gaia. She was originally a feminine energy, but over time was completely run over by masculine energy for power, control, greed. And I'm bringing this to the reptilians because they have kept us in this low vibration for a very long time. Since the fall of Atlantis is what I'm getting. We'll get into another episode about Atlantis, Lemuria. Because that's real as well. For thousands of years. And she hasn't been able to recover until now. So it's beautiful. That's why you're seeing, I'm out in New York, depending where you're listening from, but with our recent back-to-back snowstorm blizzard, and Gaia is also purging herself because she is, again, a consciousness, a soul. And all this energy has been stuck in her. I'm just seeing like in her belly, like this, like someone's holding their belly, right? Think of it as like gas, right? If you need to pass gas, I don't know why it's coming up, y'all, but that's my best way to describe this, right? And your stomach is hurting so much, and eventually you're going to let out that gas, and it's a lot of gas coming out of you, right? Similar to that. That's what's going on with these weather patterns. And you're going to see more extremities and irregular weather patterns and, more volcanoes erupting, earthquakes and shit like that. Plus, it's also part of just the natural evolution of a planet. Some of these weather systems are man-made, some are not. And I'm circling back to the reptilians in terms of the Epstein files. So these reptilians keep us in this karmic loop by pretty much controlling everything around us. The number one thing they control us with is, what do we all stress over or want more of to make sure we're okay? Money. Yeah. Back during Atlantis Lemurian days, like Lemuria days, what the fuck was that? Printed paper money? What is that? Yeah. So they keep us in this plus not only that, right? It's not only money, but it's also other scenarios they keep you in. Right? Forcing, over-sexualizing, people, music, movies, and planting ideas, subconsciously, so subliminally in everything we do to keep us in this cycle so we can't get out of it. And unfortunately, with a lot of these, celebrities, which is seeing now, Hollywood, which I'm tying it back to Epstein, right? They utilize that industry, entertainment, music, Hollywood. Um, Outside of that too, all types, but I'm focusing on them because it is the biggest one where people are signing over their vessel for fame, money, riches. What you hear as selling your soul, but you can't sell your soul. You sell your body, your vessel. They have control over it to keep you in this low vibration. They have the capacity, these reptilians have the capacity to manipulate your energy. This is why I say in my TikTok, spirit school, you are gotta be careful with your energy, what you're listening to, what you're watching. Your energy can be manipulated straight off of just vibration, even thought. So these people that are in the Epstein files are doing these horrific things, are feeding these reptilians because these reptilians thrive off of low vibrational energies. And because they cannot connect to God's source frequency, they don't even know what that feels like, right? They want it to feel it. And they also thrive off of the pain, the torture. I've said this before in the energy harvesting episode. You know the movie Monsters Inc. when the monsters will go to the door and scare the shit out of the kids so they can collect the energy so they can have a thriving community and survive. That's pretty much what these reptilians are doing. This is how they survive. While enjoying putting children through torture and pain and eating them and all the, and it's because I've said this in I sound like a broken record, but I'm just repeating it so y'all can, if you've been listening since day one, I've been saying this shit. Not to say that like, oh, I'm right or not. It's just so you can have an understanding. Children have the purest souls. They're the closest incarnation to what God's source frequency is before they get indoctrinated into Gaia Earth, this low density. That pure innocence, that joy, that laughter, that happiness, that free spirit. And so these reptilians know this. And that's why they go after these children. It's so disgusting, y'all. I really hope you guys are sitting back. This is not about conspiracies, yo. This is about really taking a look. Really looking, reviewing, soaking in the truth of existence here. What we're witnessing, what we're a part of. Not a part of being participating, but like what's going on here. This shit is real. This shit is real, y'all. And so I posted on my TikTok about this, and someone said, "Oh no, they worship, these dark entities." This is true, they do. Those are for the people who don't know that they're feeding into this reptilian agenda, which is that low vibrational dark energy entity energy that they're tapping into. Dark entities are just a creation of our own energy. This is why they fucking disappear, cower, disintegrate in the presence of the light upon the name of calling on Yeshua. It's because they're made of just false frequency, meaning, and I could speak to this because of experience. For example, when I was in my apartment, there was a window that I don't keep open. And I was lying in my bed looking at the window. I'm like, should I close it? Because my neighbors can look it through the window. I don't like to keep the window open, right? And I was thinking about it, right? Very anxious about it. And I eventually fell asleep. And guess what? That night I was attacked by an apparition, a dark apparition that was coming from that window. And I woke up and I was like, oh, shit. That's new. Side note, I've fought other dark apparitions. I astral travel in my dream state. I also fight for the light when I'm in my astral traveling excursions or battles and shit like that. We'll share that for another episode. I'm going to be very transparent to a minimum, because there's some things I'm going to keep sacred until I'm ready to reveal, what I have spiritually experienced, have seen, have been told. But for this, I can say that much. And so I was like, oh, this is new. It was different from when being spiritually attacked by an outside force coming at me. I hope I'm making sense. This was a pure creation of my thought. And so it dawned on me. I was like, oh shit, like I created that. And so what happens is, the reason why people can connect and use these entities, because over time, as people are operating in these low vibrations, right? Whether it's jealousy, envy, spitefulness, sadness, the depression, right? Anger, hostility, all of that, right? What happens is it creates an actual physical manifestation of that energy. And as more people are feeding and creating this energy, this is why it's so important to be aligned with yourself and centered and grounded. Eventually, over time, they become even larger. So it's almost like the energies build. They start here and then it builds the more people feed into it. And then eventually it becomes its own force. Excuse me. That's a confirmation burp. And this is what people are tapping into energetically when they're here. If it's not that dark energy frequency, they're tapping into nefarious beings. By nefarious beings, I mean low dimensional ETs. So you guys, everything that's happening now with these Epstein files, it runs deep as hell. Deep as hell. The top of the food chain, so to speak, when it comes to the powers that were. They know about the reptilians. They work for the reptilians. Some of them shapeshift into the reptilians. Some of them communicate with them. They know. They know. But it's all being revealed now. And the reptilians already know they lost the battle. They were warned. They were warned to leave. Some of them decided to fight this out to the end. Some left. But also let me make sure I tell y'all too, not all reptilians are bad. A big majority of them are, but not all of them are. Some of them are tired as fuck of this shit. Tired. And they want to help. So I know this because there's just been you can pick up on the energies. And if you don't know what the GFL, I mentioned the GFL, but I astral traveled to. So some people, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Then I'm gonna wrap this up because we're tapping in almost an hour now. So some people who star seeds or light workers, what have you, they work directly with the GFL. They're ambassadors for the GFL. I'm not an ambassador for the GFL. I can connect, but not necessarily here to be a channel for them. But I did experience one experience with them. This is how I know they're real. In my dream state, I astral traveled to the GFL ship. And there was a being in there. And I need to look up the name. Hold on, let me see. Maybe I could Google it real fast. Because, so, you know the way that we categorize gender here? Female, male, right? Energy. This being that I connected with was androgynous, so no actual gender. Not a gender. Hold on, I'm looking for, I forgot the name. Hold on. 1 second, y'all. I'm looking up right now. Because I shared this at Spirit School on TikTok too. And I'm just looking for this particular being's name because this is the one that I connected with. Hold on now. Okay. So this being that I connected with wasn't a reptilian. Looked like one because of their skin texture. I'm getting the name because hold on 1 second, y'all. Well, I got it right here. Hold up, y'all. Let me see where did it. No. Where is it? But anyway, this being was from Orion's belt. A representative for the Orions. Hold on, maybe I'm able to pull it up over here. Hold up now. Oh God, where is it? It's on my TikTok, Spirit School. But it had that scaly kind of skin. But obviously was not a bad being. Working with the GFL. Again, androgynous, but what was happening was in the dream, the being, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get your name, was connecting with me telepathically in a way where I felt comfortable. So then it started giving me feminine energy, very nurturing energy to let me know that I was safe. It gave me a specific message in that dream, which pretty much asked me if I wanted to continue with the situation, the path that I was on, and just to check in on me. And I said yes, because there was still soul lessons that I needed to learn from the situation I was in. I'm trying to get this name, the being's name, but it had that scaly skin. It was yellow, had yellow on it, and like not a gray, but like between gray green, something like that. Was wearing a white coat. Forgive me, I'm gonna remember your. I'm trying to get the name for y'all because it's driving me crazy. This is my first time actually sharing this publicly. But at this point, y'all, I talk about so much shit already at Spirit School. I need to let y'all know what I'm tapping into because I'm really tapping into this, tapping in, and also of my connection to higher dimensions. Because I'm letting y'all know I'm not a bullshitter. You know what I'm saying? What I talk about is through my own personal knowledge that's stored within my own DNA and my remembrance and what my frequency is because, I've been around for a very, very long time as very long time as a soul. And y'all need to know this because we're talking about reptilians. So, I can't find the name. I thought, damn. Hold on. Is that you? I can't. Y'all, I can't. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be here forever looking for the name if I don't stop. But anyway, so this is how I know that it's real. And like I said, they're not necessarily reptilian, but has that skin. But I say that to say, but not all of them are bad, even though the majority of them are good. And so last thing I'm going to say, y'all, about these the Epstein files and what's going on. A lot of people are involved in this. As you are reading, watching, please use your spiritual eyes, y'all. Use your spiritual eyes. Don't use this. Don't use this. Use this. And really try to see past. You're already doing it with a lot right now because you're a lot of the spirits on Gaia right now, their third eyes are open because you're elevated in consciousness, your vibration, you've ascended. A lot of you, not everyone. You need to use your spiritual eyes when it comes to these people that are being called in for depositions and trials, because there will be trials. These people will look at what they're doing already. Do you think they give a flying fuck about lying under oath? They denounce God on the regular. Yeshua is their enemy. They have to be sworn on the Bible or whatever other book they have to, whatever religion whoever is going to be tried under. It does not matter because they all denounce God's source frequency. What is it to them to lie in front of the government? And I want you to pay attention to how they're responding to this stuff. The words they're using. It is textbook phrasing for them to not be held for perjury because they're not fully denying or fully confirming the allegations. Like this fucking bitch, that's what I'm gonna call her because what she's done, right? Shirley Blinton. So I don't recall meeting Jeffrey Epstein. Like that is, I don't recall is textbook phrasing, y'all. Yo, them and her husband, they got a lot, y'all. I'm getting, she has very cold energy. Cold. I don't even feel like a soul in her type shit whenever I see her. Video, photo, whatever. She is cold. She is dark. I'm telling y'all. And her husband, massive perversion energy coming from him. These are all low vibrational. That's also a low vibration too. Disgusting perversion. Okay? And a lot of these well-known people, whether it's business, whether it's politics, whether it's music, movies, a lot of them participate in this shit, y'all. Some of them, I will say, I'll say this for another episode because I want to. Let me say that for another episode. We're going to tap into the Illuminati because this is where all of these celebrities, which I was connecting with when I was talking about Epstein and all of that on TikTok, that a lot of them were blackmailed. I'll just say this quickly, and it's all tied into this reptilian agenda. However, a lot of them, not all of them willingly chose to give up their vessel. Some of them were blackmailed into it. Some of them had no idea. Of course, when they're young, right, you don't really know what you're getting into. Some of them did. But some of them were blackmailed. So anyways, but participate in this. And a lot of the big well-known folks, y'all, definitely participated in it. I'm going to talk about this in another episode because I've been shown who are a part of this. A lot of the conspiracy theories you're hearing of who is very true. Very true. And I'll leave it at that. So this was a very probably intense episode. But listen, at the state of the game right now, this is where we're at, and I need to keep it real 100. Let y'all know what's going on out here because it's no longer a game. The truth needs to be told. There's no more, last thing I'm being called to say, especially if you're watching, you're a light worker, starseed out there, a light warrior. There's no more masking the truth. We don't have to dance around the reality of this planet, of the knowledge we know, the ancient sacred knowledge that we know, the truth. For some of you out there who can connect, like everyone needs to know the truth. There's no hiding anymore. Everything is out. The curtains have been opened. The Wizard of Oz has been revealed. And to anyone, last thing I'm going to say, to anyone, because I've had people leave comments on my TikTok about this, like some of them are fearful. There's nothing to be afraid of. Do not be in that fearful energy. Listen, y'all, whether you believe me or not, I'm just letting you know it's over for them. It is over. The light has won. The divine is here. People are too awakened and now know the truth. This was also a test. This was also spiritual warfare and a test for humanity in our frequency. Even though we have shifted energetically into the new earth frequency, this is something that a lot of you, please keep this in your mind too. Just because we switched over, elevated our vibration here, right? Gaia. It's not only leaning on our cosmic brothers and sisters and the divine to help us, we as a humanity determines how this planet, Gaia, is going to go, which direction she is going to go in. So when something like this has been revealed to the public, we were given a decision. Do we, profess our woes and dismay and then go about our day like it's a normal day, which is what they were hoping would happen? They were hoping that we would just treat it like every other crazy thing that's happening, which is non coincidental because everything's being revealed. The collapse of this structure we've been in for thousands of years, okay? Completely crumbling. And I've said this before, it has to crumble so then it can be built on new foundation, not on old foundation. You're just transferring that energy over into the new foundation. You need to completely obliterate that old frequency so you can start completely on a new slate. And this is what's happening right now. But anyway, we were faced with, are we going to act that way and just completely normalize it and dismiss it like any other thing? Or are we going to stand up, speak out, bring more awareness to it, and demand justice? They want to keep us separated because through separation, they can apply their agenda, create more division, use divisive tactics, mental tactics, and also visual tactics. Physical too. I mean, y'all seen the emails about COVID. So this is why it's important. I thought I was going to wrap this up 15 minutes ago. There's just so much I have to say. It's just coming. I'm getting so many downloads. That's why I'm trying to share them as much as I can right now. This is why unity scares the shit out of them, because this is what happens. Think of when something is like broken apart, right? There's so much space in between that it's hard to connect. You know what I'm saying? Energetically. If you're so far over here and this person's so far over here, y'all don't know what the hell is going on, right? Like, it's easy to create a narrative versus when everyone bands together and become a force and unite. It's very hard to manipulate a group that's unified. Unity conscious, y'all. Unity consciousness. This is what we're doing. And to talk about the spiritual warfare thing, it's amazing to see that we've chosen that route. So we're in a really good space. And we just have to continue to create this momentum. But it's already happening. The age of Aquarius, y'all, we're in this for the next 2,000 years. You can only imagine what Gaia is going to look like by the end of it. It's going to be a sight to see in the most positive, beautiful way. It's done for them, y'all. That's to say, don't be fearful. It's over. They're done. They've lost their power. They're running around with the chickens, like chickens with their heads cut off. They don't know what the fuck is going to happen, what they're going to do. This is just the first layer off of the onion. Onions have mad layers and this is just the first layer. Oh, we're going to keep peeling it and you're going to see how deep this goes. This is not just here in America. We got other places around the world that we need to tap into, specifically that royal family. And also, we need to head over to the Vatican. That's all going to be revealed. Y'all just watch. Okay? So, on that note, thank you for listening to this episode. Like I said, it's very intense, deep. A lot was said, but there's so much that's revealed now. So, what I'm saying isn't wild. If you still think it's wild, like, you got to catch up, fam. You're behind. No fault of your own. You've been programmed to believe certain things. So it's just now deprogramming yourself from that, rewiring yourself to the right circuit board, which is the circuit board of God, source, the light.